The lost server. Mike never believed in Roblox urban legends. He always thought they were just made-up stories until that night changed everything. After he set up animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's on his arena, his character got stuck in the game. But that was only the beginning. When Mike came to, he found himself in an entirely different world of gray, blurred space that seemed like a mix between Roblox and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Everything around him looked as if it were an abandoned server. Pixelated textures were peeling off like cold plaster, and the sound of footsteps echoed through empty corridors. He tried to open the game menu, but the interface was gone. System error, he thought, but fear was already creeping into his mind. Then he heard a familiar mechanical footsteps and metallic scraping. It was Foxy. Foxy was no longer just a model. Her eyes now glowed bright red. Her fur was torn, revealing rusty metal parts beneath. She moved quickly and faster than in the original game. Every time Mike turned a corner, he saw her silhouette at the end of the corridor. She seemed to be playing with him, like a cat chasing a mouse. It's just a game, he kept telling himself. But the reality of this world felt tangible. The corridors kept changing, doors disappeared, walls shifted, and sometimes the floor turned into an endless void. Mike realized that this place had a life of its own, and it wasn't about to let him go. At one point, he found a security room with monitors, similar to the one in the original game. On the screens, he saw himself running through the corridors. The Foxy was always lurking nearby. Sometimes she was right behind him, her hook almost touching him. Mike screamed and ran out of the room, but the sound of her laughter continued to haunt him. Then he heard a voice in it, just a mechanical sound, but a real whisper that echoed directly in his head. You wanted us to come alive. Now you're one of us. Mike ran faster, but every step became heavier. His character began to slow down, as if the game's code itself was breaking. He stopped in front of a massive door labeled Foxy's Domain. The door slowly opened, and he saw her Foxy sitting on a throne made of broken game models. Her hook gleamed in the dim light. I don't want to be here, Mike shouted, but his voice sounded muffled, as if the world was swallowing his words. Foxy rose from her throne and slowly approached him. Her movements were smooth but eerie, like a predator who knew its prey and nowhere to run. The last thing Mike remembered was her hook moving closer to his face, and then silence. The next morning, players on the server noticed a new arena. In the corner stood the animatronics, but among them was another figure, a strange puppet resembling Mike. Its eyes were hollow, and its face was frowning in a terrified grimace. When someone got too close, it would start moving, and everyone could hear its whisper, "Don't trust Foxy." The story quickly spread across Roblox forums. Some say that if you visit that server at night, you can hear mechanical laughter and see the Mike puppet watching you from the shadows.